Effective Decision Maker by author Peter Drucker. Once you think from an executive, you would possibly consider senior manager in a very luxury suit sitting in a very large corporate office, but the executive title isn't limited to business leaders, and CEO is anyone who decides a way to use their time to urge at the best results. If you've got no control for what you are doing along with your time, CEO. But the massive question is, you are an efficient executive. An ineffective CEO is serving him or her time to undertake to try and do all the work via his office or mailbox. But effective executive power is selective. An effective CEO doesn't just do things well, they are doing the correct things, and they do this by asking one question before do whatever work I can contribute. Main author Peter Drucker, considered the best management thinker of the 20th century, says focus is on contributing to target effectiveness. To contribute, you must find a technique that's helpful for the people you serve. Could also be this the staff you're employed with, or even this the segment of shoppers you sell, or perhaps this is the audience you create on YouTube videos. If you target ensuring this video contributes to your success by supplying you with concrete ways to manage your time, then make this video an efficient use of my time. If you are an applied scientist and your want to be effective isn't enough years to write down awesome code that you simply should write code contributes to the ultimate application for the team. At any moment you can search around and find dozens of them ways to contribute to your people life. But if you wish to search out your own, hence the biggest contribution to maximize your effectiveness, you want to focus on contributing commandments. Know your strength and know your time. At 2011, Toyota Group engineers wanted to attain significant contribution to the kitchen for the poor in Harlem, so rather than making a soup or a donation, funds that were other contributions, people were already making up their minds to make a novel contribution by developing their strength is within the work of engineers. User process engineering. Toyota experience to repair a soup service. The process found gaps within the method delivery of the kitcheness. Organized and trained volunteers. Wait time to get dinner reduced from 90 minutes to 18 minutes. After you find some way to form the productive force, you contribute to your highest level. But what if you do not know what your strengths are? Peter Drucker says the sole thanks to discover your strengths through reactions and feedback analysis. Like conduct a scientific experiment on career path. The idea is to volunteer for brand spanking new roles at work or a faculty in your community for any organization that interests you. But before you're taking any new role, assume you're writing performance below as your list of responsibilities. New role and evaluation of how you expect perform in each of those responsibilities on a scale from 1 to 1.5, and so 6 to 12 months at the moment. Return to your expectations and discover if your performance is best or worse than your. I thought that if you volunteered for management position, I used to be better at create plans and delegate tasks from. You think you are the simplest at the answer problems and deciding underneath squeeze than you thought, or did you have much less patience than you thought? Realize that you just do your best. You probably must work alone and perform the work yourself. Drucker says the majority think they know what they're usually good at fault, and other people who know what they're not good more often than wrong. 7 years ago, I volunteered giving speeches at your local Toastmasters, but I never expected to be over average. But after some months I was surprised by the speed I used to be. It improved and surprised me. Ability to jot down and provide speeches. Attention of the helmet audience. This in the end I won some contests and I discovered an influence I didn't know. You have continued there to strength. I invested longer building that power, and that is why you see it. This video is on YouTube today. Over roles to volunteer for and more. Analyze the notes you are doing. The more yourself you discover, the faster your main strengths that allow you to induce the most important possible contribution. But to induce a major contribution, you wish time to place your strengths to figure. Which leads us to the second commandment of the contribution. Know some time. When Drucker asked executives how they spend their time, always got an inspiring answer. 1 in every of the bosses told Drucker that his work was divided equally between important discussions with the CEO over time along with his best clients, time for organizing community jobs, all the work that he considered a good contribution to his company. But when the driver got the CEO to form a time record and record his business activities, in point of fact actual was less rosy. Because the chairman's time record revealed that almost all the president's period of time was spent doing trivial things like tracking new requests that weren't necessary because that was someone else's job and that they could only manage it fine without him. Our memory of your time is flawed. If we glance at quite an hour back, we are going to fool ourselves and believe that we are affected plenty. Quite we actually are. The sole thanks to know some time is to record how you utilize it. Slow to start out recording how you spend it. Slow. I like to recommend recording 3 hours when with great care every workday. If you're thinking that you are doing better between 9 a.m. and noon, then set an alarm on your phone at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. and noon. When the alarm explodes, open a notebook near you or a note on the note-taking app on your phone and write everything you'll be able to remember to be as specific as possible, and do not forget to incorporate small distractions. For instance, answer a customer email, a few blank respond into a blank text message, organize my blank files and draft blank report books. After running activities for every hour, type approximately what percentage minutes you spent doing the ad that hour. That seems like a novel contribution, work that you simply think is useful and enhances your strengths. If you've got the self-discipline to try to do this for 4 weeks, then at the top of the month, you may get a time log statement, very like a card statement credit. Once you review some time statement, you'll see lots to your amazement what percentage worthless things have spent it. Slow at the purpose where a very effective CEO separates himself or herself from most CEOs, because a good CEO isn't serving the time statement to organize the stop list and therefore the cut-off list. The effective CEO fills out the stop list by gazing his time interval and asking which of those I could stop doing activities and no one noticed, and which of those activities made a far lower contribution than I expected. Once I posed responsible a good executive these questions, she noticed were a standard distraction, and useless meetings and urgent issues were wonderful opportunities that would are ignored. Even now, to determine an executive irrespective of rank or position who cannot send something sort of a quarter of requests in his time to the trash base without anyone noticing their disappearance. A piece breakdown list contains an inventory of things that a good executive will start to politely reject and avoid systematically after clearing the time statement to place things on the downtime list. The effective CEO fills out the activity offload list on the indication of when some other person could do exactly still, if not better, to stay to running tasks or update spreadsheet formatting documents, or any business that doesn't require strong judgment or creativity finds its way into the shutdown list. The downtime list, and therefore the checkout list, are two lists that an efficient executive values a more than a to-do list, because a good CEO knows that if he doesn't have the notice, the courage and self-discipline to prevent about doing things that don't contribute and let go work that others can do exactly additionally if not better, then she is going to not have time to try and do what you are doing better. To be an efficient executive and have the largest possible contribution, you must prefer to spend some time doing what you are doing best and stop doing it or forsaking all the remainder. And this was the fundamental message that I got from A Good CEO by Peter Drucker. This book is over 50 years old, and principles of management. The time during this book is more important today than it's ever been. If you liked this video, please share it. Thanks for watching.